Let's get it.
A Maryland mother's frustration continues to grow tonight with the juvenile justice system. She believes it keeps failing her troubled son. Fox 5's Bob Barnard outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Rockville with the update.
There was a hearing here in Circuit Court this afternoon. The young man at the center of this story once again facing an auto theft and now a gun charge. He was ordered held in the state's juvenile detention center in Prince George's County and ordered back in court early next month.
I laugh because I actually know exactly where that is. I used to be down there all the time. All the time.
When we first met Christine Taylor and her then 13-year-old son 2 years ago, he'd been in and out of trouble, including stealing cars at age 12.
Dang.
Suffering from mental health and behavioral challenges, he was sitting with us there on a school day. He's now 15 and facing new charges, including another auto theft and, for the first time, a gun charge. He was one of 2 teens stabbed in an attack outside of Harris Teeter in Clarksburg back in March, a crime that made the news that night.
Dang, I remember that because there ain't too much crime in that area, man. Ain't too much crime in that area. So when that happened, it was like, what's going on?
Christine once again telling us she's frustrated by the court system and Maryland's Department of Juvenile Services because she's a mom constantly trying to get her son the help he needs and feels the system keeps failing them.
If you don't do something, if they're just catch and release, there's no lesson being learned.
Yeah.
I mean, as I explained with my son, his very first time that he stole a car, he was given like a crossword puzzle and 5 hours of household chores. I mean, what is that, honestly? What type of punishment is that?
I remember when I was at that same courthouse right there. She over there by the shopping center, movie theaters on the other side there. I remember they gave me a they gave me an essay to write. I wrote an essay. And back then there wasn't no computers. Well, there was computers actually, yeah. But it wasn't no AI writing the essay. It was like you had to type it up or copy and paste. And I think that's what I did. I copied and pasted my way through the essay because they wasn't checking for plagiarism like that, especially in the court system. I don't even know if that man read that essay, but it helped me to understand critical thinking. The essay was on what was that essay on, man? Oh, avoiding confrontation. Avoiding confrontation. It was, yeah, it opened my eyes.
So if there's no punishment with these kids, they're not going to learn from it. And that's what's happening.
Christine says she grew even more frustrated earlier this month when a Virginia father of 5 was killed in a collision in Montgomery County involving a stolen car driven by a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, that made the news and that blew up too because that's crazy, man. These kids now are out of control. Out of control. It ain't no, they just doing a little bit, man. They a lot of reckless stuff. Cost fathers their lives. Father of 5 or something like that. Man, he had a lot of kids, and that's terrible. On the way to work or something, probably.
With 6 underage passengers along for the ride. Christine says the subsequent question, where are the parents of these young people, was triggering for her. This as Maryland's new Youth Charging Reform Act is set to become law in October.
Oh.
It will keep some young people charged with violent crimes out of adult court and steered into the juvenile justice system that Christine calls broken.
None of these children are suffering from any consequences from their actions or behaviors. And then the parents are the ones being blamed at the end. That's the problem.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying because, of course, she has a life that she living, and her son is off the hook. You know what I mean? She trying to get him together, but she look like she probably got a job. Baby trying to pay bills. I don't know. So how can they keep a tab on their kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? They do need more programs or something.
Problem. I get attacked left and right as a mom. I told you I had that year-long CPS case and everything that I thought was going to get me help with him. It didn't. What if my son did that? What if my son was the one that stole that car and crashed that car and killed that man? Imagine how I would feel when I've been begging for help. I wouldn't feel good as a mom. I would feel like I failed. But it's the system that's failing these kids, really.
So we gotta look at it. Is it the system? Because I took my kids out of school years ago, and the reason I took them out of school is because I felt this way when they get amongst their peers. Some of their peers are coming from different backgrounds, teaching them different stuff. And just like adults, we're easily influenced, but kids don't really have an understanding of the world to be like, nah, that's dumb. That, they usually have to go through situations, and they have something called a family that used to keep everybody in line. Now the family's been dismantled, so there's no structure there. She's standing there by herself. I don't see a man in the picture. I don't know what's going on with that. But if we could keep even grandparents there, aunties and uncles, somebody that could positively put the kid in a place where they could grow, you know what I mean? There's so much stuff that's negatively destroying these kids, not just the kids, the parents, not just the parents, the grandparents. Like everybody want to be outside, but everybody has their own agenda. Somebody has to sacrifice to pour into the kids, to raise the kids. But we ain't never going to get there if we separate it and break it up so much. And now she's sitting there like, I need help. I need this. God had a plan. Now we all leaning on the government. And I'm going to do a video as well to show how the government is a big contributor to tearing down the family. But this case right here stuck out. Not this case, this news segment, because of the case that they were talking about that I didn't really want to touch on because it was low. Hey, it must be a pattern if they keep pushing the same narrative that the kids are off the hook. And I've been saying that for years. These kids are off the hook. We need to focus, do something better than what we used to do so we can get better results. Look it in her face. Look it in her face. She tired. She tired. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about how tiring it must be to continue to go through the same stuff with your youth, and you're looking for help. And all these little programs that they put in place, like she said, this keeping kids in the juvenile section so they can go and commit more crimes without any intervention, without any systems, without any classes, without anything. You know what I'm saying? Without anything. It's just going to be a cycle. It's going to keep happening over and over. And I'm going to tell you, take it from me first, when we get down to 10, 20 years from now, when we really old and gray, man, you're going to be scared to come outside. These kids going to be crazy as hell. I try to tell you.
But it's the system that's failing these kids. Really. It really is, unfortunately.
We've reached out to Maryland's Department of Juvenile Services. They told us they'll need time to investigate this particular case and Christine's concerns, and will likely get back to us next week.
Next never. Like, come on, man. We doing a segment now. What you talking about next week? What's going on? What y'all doing over there at Maryland Department of Juvenile Services? But we can't even blame Maryland because it's a nationwide issue. I'm just speaking on Maryland because it's where I live at, and I see it. I see this area that they're in starting to go down and down and down. You can build big houses, you can put restaurants, you can make everything attractions and entertainment, but the mind of the people, the youth, the folks that have to come together in the future, like these youth are the future. The parents, we got to raise them correctly. We got to put them on the right path. Make sure they understand, like, watch out for the games out here, man, because everything is trying to take you down through there. Y'all be easy.